interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, everybody. Merry Christmas and welcome to Vikings Uncensored live on Christmas Eve. Of course, we're coming to you early this week because the Minnesota Vikings play host to the Detroit Lions in a Winter Warrior whiteout game tomorrow at 3:30.
Correct.
Coming to you live on Netflix. So if you don't have a Netflix subscription, either find a buddy that has it so that you can steal it from him for the day, or sign up for the free trial just to watch the game.
It's so dumb. So dumb. Why can't it just be like it always had been? And
because it's the almighty dollar, and the NFL can make some more money, and Netflix can make some money by selling subscriptions just to watch the 3 games tomorrow on Christmas.
It's getting to the point where you can't even watch your local team for fucking free unless you have one of these streaming sites.
No, you got to have 875. I miss the days of cable because at least you might have paid $150 a month,
yeah.
But everything was in one location. Now you got to have 800 streaming services, and it probably costs you $200 a month. But yeah.
Right off
Netflix.
the bat.
Fuck the hammer's coming up.
Might as well, yeah. Show me your little toy that you made, Rhino.
Yes, the Vikings Mjolnir Thor hammer. My little Christmas present to myself. I bought a 3D printer, and this is one of the things I was able to make off it.
That is fucking tight.
So it's pretty fucking sweet. So
yes,
we will implement that into the show as we go along here a little bit. But
dude, you need to make a sword next. A fucking sword like
he
that.
who wields this hammer controls the lightning. So I got the fucking lightning for tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. I got the fucking lightning for tonight.
I got the fucking lightning.
How many turnovers for Brosmer? You know, honestly, I'm going to go back to that Seattle game. What a horrible game to throw an undrafted rookie free agent quarterback into for his first start. I'm going to start it off with that. A lot of people like to dig into it a little bit more. Was that KOC's way of just being like, Brosmer's, you know, I don't know, throwing him into the fire like that?
I think that was the come to Jesus moment for KOC to realize that his fucking offense maybe needed to be altered.
Yeah, and
for these young quarterbacks.
That's a good point. Yes, as well. You know, in that Seattle game, I think and I posted this on Facebook earlier this week. It kind of like the roof started to crack, and then it kind of all just caved in for Max in that game.
Yeah,
you know, one mistake, and it wasn't like a McCarthy thing where McCarthy can sometimes get past that and turn what would have been a bad game into a winning game. You know, at least where Brosmer wasn't quite able to do that, and against the Seattle defense, who is, you know, arguably the best defense in the NFL. So I think I look forward to see what Brosmer can do against Detroit in this, like you said, in this new dumbed down Kevin O'Connell offense, which seems to be working fairly well.
Yeah,
for McCarthy the last 3 weeks.
I'm not going to call it dumbed down. I'm just going to call it Kevin.
Right, I don't want to call it that either. Just calling what is successful for these young guys.
Yep. Hey, we got a couple more. Reggie is in the house. Good evening, my brother. Good evening, Zone. in the Zone Sports is joining us. Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while, so thank you for
Nice.
joining on a Christmas Eve.
To answer his question, back to the turnover thing, I'm going to say one at least.
Probably be one.
Probably one at least, I'm going to say. But then it goes back to how does he respond to that he create because of him. How does he respond? Does he overcome or does he let it engulf him and then the whole game is done?
Yeah.
So
I mean, against the Giants last week, he didn't look great, but he didn't look terrible.
But he made the plays that needed to be made.
He made enough plays. I mean,
earlier in the season,
with him out there, we only scored 3 points, but yeah, Reggie's got a good point here. Let's not have any no look passes while being tackled.
Just take the sack in that situation.
No, just throw the ball out of bounds,
or just take the sack. Right, either or would be.
I would prefer not to take the sack, but
right.
Yes, if the option is take the sack or a no look pass is going to get pick sixed, yes, take the sack.
I prefer just to take the sack because you don't even want that ball out of your hand if you're going to go and try to throw it out of bounds. Just take the sack. Yes.
Right. No, I get you. I believe I wasted 2 years with KOC in the top defensive coordinator. When he leaves, we're really going to feel it. Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of uncertainty, I guess, around Brian Flores here at the end of the year. Is he going to stay? Is he going to come back? Or, is he going to go? I've heard some rumors about there being a little tension between Flores and KOC. If that's the case,
we've touched on that too the last few weeks.
Yeah, we did. I would think, that the Wilfs are going to try to do what they can to keep him here.
Honestly, I think we said this last year, and I think we might have said the year before. It all comes down to what Flores wants to do in all reality.
Yeah.
It really does. Does he want to stick around?
Does he do a lateral move someplace else, though, to be another defensive coordinator? If he does, that doesn't speak well for Kevin O'Connell and his staff. I have heard rumors to that effect. I hope that's not the case, because if Brian Flores gets a head coaching job someplace else, great. I wish him well. But if he
takes a coordinator job,
if he leaves here to go for a lateral move to another team, then I'm going to be.
That's telling something.
Yeah,
that's telling of something.
Yep.
Yeah. It means there's no salary cap for coaching. I mean, the Wilfs could give him as high as offer as they could if they really wanted him.
Yeah. Now, do the Wilfs pull Brian Flores aside and say, "Hey, O'Connell's on the hot seat here. If he doesn't win playoff games or whatever else, stick around because maybe we'll just move you up into that position."
See, we talked about that last week as well, but then again, that's just causing schism too.
It does, and that's gonna cause division in the locker room, and that's gonna cause all this other stuff. So
that's something you don't want to get out of pocket either. You don't want whispers in the locker room of that being the case.
If that gets out, that just blows your whole locker room, because pretty soon your defensive guys are on one side, your offensive guys are on another side, and
in KOC's defense, we always call it straight from the hip in the present, or we don't try to look too far in the future or go too far in the past. But the way KOC's been calling this offense the last 3 weeks has been really beneficial for these young quarterbacks.
It is.
And if he continues to be able to evolve his offense to fit the circumstances, then I can hang with that. Yeah. I can hang with that. With Brosmer up here, I've seen too. Yeah, I don't like to use this term a lot, and I know it's really cliche for people to say they don't like to use this term a lot, but really, Brosmer just needs to be a game manager this next week.
Yeah.
on Sunday. Take what's there, even if it's a check down, even if it's, 3rd and 4, and you throw it a yard short of the sticks and it's there and everything else is covered. You just got to take what's there.
Yeah. And, Brosmer's capable of doing that.
I believe so too.
Is he going to put up eye-popping stats? Probably not. Now, one thing we do need to do is make sure that we get Justin Jefferson at like 50 yards per game in the next 2 games to get his 1,000. But
Right.
and that's the frustrating part about what happened on Sunday is the Jefferson to McCarthy to Jefferson thing was starting to click,
Yeah.
like
Well,
we talked about last week.
The frustrating thing to me, Rhino, is and then this is something we could have probably talked about earlier too,
Yeah.
is McCarthy's ability to stay on the fucking football field.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, a lot of this stuff has just been freak injury shit. Smacking your hand against a helmet, or the one earlier with the.
You can't help your team win games if you're not on the
No,
field.
you can't. But I'm going to bring up one thing here on this. Yeah, Reggie, that's exactly right. KOC does not have a playoff win yet, and he's like only the second coach in recent memory to get into his 5th year without a playoff win.
Right.
But the whole thing last year with McCarthy, he missed the entire year. That was a team decision. That wasn't his decision, because he could have had the trim done and been back in like 6 weeks, but the team erred on the side of caution, did the full repair, which put him out for the entire year. So,
And I think a lot of us agreed with that as well. A lot of us agreed with them doing what was the
long
beneficial
term,
thing.
it's probably best for everything. Yes,
But now look at where we're at now this year.
Yeah,
It's not his knee, but it's other things.
Right. No,
and I've heard the ankle thing's been going back. I heard the ankle thing has been going back to college.
Yeah.
He's been dealing with ankle issues. I love the kid. I believe he has all the ability in the world. I'm rooting for him. But if you can't help your team by not being able to stay on the field, it is not helping your team.
Right. No, and I'm not going to argue that. All I'm saying is it has been some freak injury type stuff. And,
it's frustrating for me.
The thing that gets me, and I want to, is you got a chunk of the fan base out there on social media. It's like, we need to go get Joe Burrow because JJ McCarthy can't stay healthy. Joe Burrow has missed 25% of his career being injured. Now, if you want to make the argument that you want to go get Joe Burrow because he is a elite level quarterback, and
when he's on the field,
that argument I'm not going to go with. But if your only argument is you're going to go get Joe Burrow because JJ McCarthy can't stay healthy, that one doesn't hold water.
No, it does not.
Because Burrow can't stay healthy either.
That was exactly my first response when I seen it on our page. Somewhere was, why would you trade for a quarterback that's just as injury prone as the quarterback that you have now?
Yep. Dave, this is the point I was trying to make, earlier. It's a lot of freaky, weird shit, And I think Jefferson said something about this week is, he just going to have to learn how to, better protect himself during the games and stuff like that. But
we all know this, Look at it this way. If I was a 22-year-old kid going into the NFL playing a grown-ass man's game, his body's not fully developed yet at 22 years old.
Norris is getting the Thor hammer on this one because absolutely right. If I will argue this and I will die on this hill.
Yeah, this is a good point. Put it back up there again.
Yeah. If Kevin O'Connell would have been calling the same offense week 1 that he's been calling the last 3 weeks, I would venture to guess that JJ McCarthy might not have been out for those, the 2 different times that he's been out this year.
This is all hypotheticals too.
It is. It's strictly speculation, but
from what
that
we're
is
seeing,
a very good point and a very valid point.
Yeah. Yeah, and from what we're seeing right now, that might be a very valid point too. Earlier on in the year,
Yeah.
and yeah, JJ's needs to fill out. He needs to fill
He
out.
does.
Something's going on with these soft muscle
Well,
injuries,
and you start looking at a lot of Jefferson had it all the way during training
soft
camp.
tissue
McCarthy's had it.
injuries.
I think we need to start looking at the freaking training staff here
Yeah,
because you've had a lot of players with soft tissue injuries over the last couple of years. So, is it something in the training regiment that they're doing or not doing, or what's going on? Because it seems like it's been worse the last couple of years than it was, back 3, 4, 5 years ago. I mean,
with Sugarman. Is Sugarman even still the
no,
lead
he's
trainer?
not there anymore. He's
Well, yeah,
gone.
I mean he was top notch. I'm gonna go off of this too, and yeah, you know what? I agree. And in some spots, we've been more
Yeah,
finesse. I think we played a lot more physical this year in some aspects of the game. But I'm gonna flip that question on you. So if we were to get rid of KOC, who would you be looking at bringing in as a head coach? Would you be looking at elevating Flores to the head coach job, which
I
I think
would.
would be the most logical thing to do, or who do you bring in because the well's pretty fucking dry?
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you were to say, okay, at the end of the year, yep, this just is not working. Sorry, Kevin, but you're gone. I would elevate Brian Flores, and I would let him bring in an offensive coordinator, whether it be like Mike McDaniel or whoever, to call plays, to run the offense. Flores runs the defense, and is
I think
the
we've been doing that
overseer of
for
it
way
all.
too long. Somebody that's just too invested in one side. I need a guy that can invest in all the phases of the game and not just one phase in
No,
particular.
ideally, I would agree to that, but very rarely are you going to find a head coach nowadays that does not do
Especially nowadays. You're right.
call
Nowadays you don't
plays
see a
on
lot of
either
that.
one side or the other.
But yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I get the mindset there, bud. But I just the well is dry, like I said, and like Rhino mentioned too. I think if we did get rid of KOC, B Flow would be the guy that you'd want to put in that spot
Yeah,
because I
I
don't
mean,
see anybody else out there outside of maybe Clint Kubiak. But I mean, we've had Clint in house before on our coaching staff, and
well, to I mean
didn't
to
think
be
very highly of him then.
no, I mean, and we gave Clint a lot of shit while he was here, but
Right?
he has grown and evolved a lot as a coordinator. Do
Yeah.
you make him a head coach? No, I wouldn't personally,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's a ton of these guys out here who are great coordinators who make shitty head coaches. They're not meant to be head coaches. They're meant to
Right.
be coordinators.
Right.
Davy
Evening, Dave.
Chains, good evening. So,
I mean, if you promoted Brian Flores to your coaching staff, that Tua talk would be put to
well,
rest.
even and I made this comment earlier this week on Twitter when I was talking with somebody. They were pushing. Oh, we need to bring Tua in as the backup and stuff to JJ McCarthy. If Brian Flores is still on this staff, Tua is not coming to Minnesota.
That's right. This is exactly what I just said. Yes, Flores is on the staff. I don't see Tua coming here at
No,
all. And
realistically,
I'm not a. I don't see Tua swallowing his pride and wanting to take up a backup role somewhere either.
no,
At this point,
there's enough shitty situations where he'll go someplace and start, whether it be like Vegas or the Jets or a few other places, but he'll
I think
probably get a job somewhere.
speaking of Tua, I believe Ryan Kelly's probably retired.
He probably should.
Yeah, I would.
Love the guy, great dude, hell of a competitor.
Plays well when healthy.
But this is his 6th concussion and his 3rd this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as soon as I heard it was a concussion during the game telecast last week, I was like, The dude just I
Yeah,
believe that was
you
his
need to
last play.
you need to just pack it in, bud.
He needs to pack it in. Yes,
Think
I
about
want
your
Tom
future.
Brady.
Think about your
Tom Brady as a
family.
head coach, I would think about that, but that's just I think a pipe dream. So
Tom Brady's a minority owner with the Raiders. He's not going to go be a head coach for anybody
no,
else. Yeah, we don't want Tua. No, even if Flores was not here, I don't want Tua because
no.
you're dealing with a Ryan Kelly situation there. I mean, the guy is one good hit away from permanently wearing a bicycle helmet and drooling.
That's why I said that. Speaking about Tua, Ryan Kelly's retired,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Who do you bring in for? Okay, here's a good talking point. Who do you bring in for a backup quarterback next offseason? Or do you see what Brosmer has for the remainder of
No,
the year? And if you think it's good enough,
I don't know. I don't want to go into next year with Brosmer as our backup.
I'm thinking Jameis would be a great addition at
Jameis
backup.
Winston would be a great pick. There's always everybody's favorite Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
I don't
Wentz,
know. I'm not sure who else is there are for
Carson
free.
Wentz.
Well, I mean, Wentz is a free agent next year. You could bring him back.
I think a lot of these guys want to see somebody come in and maybe push JJ a little bit harder too, as well. A lot
Yeah,
of the fan base wants to see a
Flacco,
actual viable guy come in.
Flacco. Yeah, but he's not going to push JJ for a starting job. He would come in as cemented as the
And
backup.
he's getting older too, as you know,
Yeah, I
he's
mean,
going to be
he's
1 year
what is
older
he?
next
What
year.
is he? 41 now. Yeah, Gardner tore his ACL, so he might not be ready to start the season. I mean, you've got
Wow, Minshew tore his ACL a week after Mahomes did, huh?
yeah,
Wow.
you've got maybe a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, who he's a free agent and he knows the Shanahan McVay type system. I could see that being a possibility. And
What about
he's
Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones blew his Achilles 2 weeks ago. I don't think he's going to be ready to start the season.
Well, not as a starter, but as a backup.
But what good's a backup if he's not going to be ready to play
Yeah,
until
that's why
like
you got
week
Max
6?
Brosmer. That's why you got Max Brosmer.
So then you're not in any better shape than you are right now.
Well,
We
yeah.
signed Brett Rippon today, so
Oh, that wow. Merry Christmas.
yeah. Fitzmagic, no. Davey, no, I still would not have signed Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers would have gotten killed behind this fucking offensive line early in the year. And he
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be playing right now either. The guy is going to be 43 years old. I want nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers.
That's a name I haven't seen in a while, too.
What's that? Oh, Jared, hey, welcome back, buddy. Yeah, I haven't seen you for a while. Thanks for hopping in on a Christmas Eve. But
Well, Stefanski would be another name to pop in the head coaching bucket, too, I guess.
I don't think I want Stefanski as a head coach. But now, if we play out the scenario where
Offensive coordinator, maybe, though.
Whereas Flores becomes the head coach and bring in Stefanski as an offensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator? Yeah, I'd like that.
That I could
I
buy
would like
into.
that.
That I could buy into.
That's a little juicy. Yeah, that's a good juicy hot take there.
Yeah. But I mean, he has been coach of the year, twice? Once or twice with Cleveland. But I just don't know that Stefanski has. I think Stefanski might be one of those guys that's better suited as a coordinator than a head coach.
Problem with the Vikings is play calling. I mean, I would say for the 3/4 of the season so far, that has been the case. But the last 3 weeks, Kevin O'Connell's dialed it up pretty well. That's just the thing. Is he going to stick with what works with the playmakers he has, or is he going to go back to his old ways and try to force things that don't work? But then you look at last year where he looked like an offensive genius throughout most of the season last year.
Yeah, but I think to a point that led to the problems we had this year because he bought into that hype that he was this offensive genius. Yes. And then he's the second coming of Sean McVay. And then
I don't want anything to do with Kenny Pickett.
No. Malik
Willis possibly, but nothing.
I could listen to that argument, but I don't want Kenny Pickett.
No.
Kenny Pickett is hot garbage. He's been hot garbage every place he's been. He is I mean, Kenny Pickett is a backup that might be able to win you a couple of games. And if you're looking for just a backup and not somebody to push McCarthy to be better, then sure.
I mean, realistically, I think this is how it's going to go. With KOC winning these last 3 games, I think that takes a little bit of heat off of his seat, if you know what I
Well,
mean.
I mean,
It just
we talked about this the last couple of weeks. I'd be surprised if O'Connell gets fired at the end of the year.
it's most likely we're going to have at least one more season under O'Connell. Is
Yeah.
what is realistically, and I'm sorry everybody that doesn't want to hear that out there. Not that we can do anything about it, but the reality
we
of
don't have the direct line to the Wolves, even though I've made inquiries, but they haven't called me back yet. So
the reality of the matter is we are most likely stuck with KOC for at least one more year.
yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm gonna say right now my chance-o-meter on Flores being head coach next year is maybe 15%. Because I think the only way that there's going to be a head coaching change is if they elevate Flores, because that's the only thing to me that would be logical.
Right. And that's why I think, with Flores being technically a free agent as far as coaching goes, I think that there is a distinct possibility that the Wilfs may pull him aside and say, hey, we'll give you whatever you want to stay here next year as defensive coordinator, because if things don't work out, you're our head coach and
There's that
but yeah, it creates
vile
it
poisonous feel
creates
to
the
that.
division in the locker room,
Yes,
in the end, it probably makes it more likely that it's going to happen.
right. See, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a personal thing with Flores. He's going to decide. I think he plays out. I don't even think he's thinking about that right now. He's probably thinking about finishing the season and then deciding what he wants to do.
Yeah. KOC gets fired by week 9 next year if Flores leaves. I could actually see that. It all depends on who that they would bring in as a defensive coordinator to replace him. Do you go in house and elevate like Durante Jones, who would run a similar Flores type system?
And that's just it. You don't want to set this defense back again because
No, or
you're
do
going to
you?
want to get a guy that runs something similar.
I mean, this defense is now set up to be a 3-4 base, with whatever all else. So you would have to find somebody who could run that type of a defense. Because you don't want to switch back to a 4-3 at this point, because that sets you back another year. I mean,
And I do believe there are some names out there that could replace Flores.
there are. I mean, you've got Brian Leonard, who's an assistant over in Denver, who I liked a lot before we
I
hired
do too.
Flores.
I like him a lot as well. Yes.
He would be a guy that I would like to be bringing in. B-Flow is going to take guys with him if he goes. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either at all.
Who does he take? I think, honestly, to be honest with you, if Flores leaves, I think Durante Jones is probably the top candidate to take over. Just because he's been under Flores for the last couple of years and can run a similar defense. Now, is he the mad scientist genius that Flores is? I don't know
Saleh
that.
stuck with San Fran though for the next few years, or is it just a 1-year contract?
I don't know.
He'd be a name I wouldn't be against either.
Sala would be a good defensive
And
guy.
He's always had good defenses. You could say that much.
But isn't he a 4-3 guy?
No, the Jets were a 3-4 under
Were they
him,
a
I
3?
believe.
I didn't watch Jets football, I guess, but yeah, Leonard would be a top guy for me. Even if he
players love playing for Leonard. They do. You could just see it. And that team,
he's a young guy.
A lot over there in Denver.
He's a young guy. He's really smart, and he's a very good defensive mind. So, if you could pry him away from Denver, that would be a definite win. all things being equal, I would like to be able to figure out a way to keep Flores here next year. Whether whether the Willis go to him and say, okay, hey, we're going to make you assistant head coach, defense, give you a hell of a pay raise, a little increase in a title. Because I mean, has it been perfect? No, but I really like what Flores has done with this defense the last couple of years he's been here. 3 years, whatever it's been.
I mean, change is always just that change. You don't know what's going to happen. It's risky all around.
But okay, here's a counter to that, Davey. So coaching stuff aside, if the GM leaves and takes his people with him, I don't know that continues to flounder in mediocrity, because as we all know, the drafts have been absolutely putrid for the most part under Kwesi. And
Staley's got a connection to KOC too at DC.
Yeah.
Not Lane Staley.
No, Brian Staley.
Yes.
But Ryan Grigson, the free agent last
year, he'll be one of the
agent,
first to go.
I think Grigson will be the fall guy this year for what has happened.
Yeah, and he should, and rightfully
and he
so.
Should. They never should have hired that idiot to begin with.
No, they shouldn't even put him in that spot. Yeah, but I think Cooper's is good to go.
Cooper needs to be gone.
Yep.
I think some of the strength and conditioning trainers and stuff need to be gone, because the soft tissue injuries and shit like this has been happening
for the last 5 years. It's been quite a bit.
Excuse me.
If we're gonna sit here and talk about JJ McCarthy and his injury concerns, then we might as well address Christian Darrisaw and his injury concerns as well. He has not even played a full season yet.
No, and this year has been just a complete clusterfuck. I mean, and it's been the weird freaking the team has kind of said one thing, he's kind of said another. This whole, I came back like a month or two sooner than I should have, and this and that.
And this should have been figured out before the season started on both sides.
Well, this entire season, just the narrative
it's been
the team itself has been completely a clusterfuck.
Yes.
The treating JJ McCarthy like he was a 5-year veteran, not playing him in preseason.
Yep, but I mentioned that a few minutes ago too, as along with Rhino, about we should have never let Sugarman walk.
Yeah, there was some behind the scenes stuff with Sugarman that kind of led to the being gone with that. I've heard that was a big part of the reason why he's no longer here. I won't say any more than that because I can't verify it, but just what I've been told. Darrisaw is a softie.
That's what I'm saying. If we're going to be concerned with McCarthy's injury history, then we got to start, holding everybody accountable when it comes to that.
Here's a good one from David. Would you trade Jefferson or Addison for draft picks and leave those picks in the hands of Kwesi? I am not trading Justin Jefferson no matter what. Unless he comes into my office and says, I will not play for this team any longer, trade me.
Right.
Jordan Addison, I'm not trading either, because right now his trade value, you might get a 3rd round pick.
And the contract,
you could probably get a 3rd round pick for him. You'd be absolutely lucky as hell to get a 2nd round pick for him, because he's had a bad year. He's so many drops.
Well, just recency bias right now. Just last week he had a horrible touchdown grab that it was a drop.
Yeah.
Right in the breadbasket.
It's in your breadbasket. You're laying on your back. It's in here, and you don't catch it.
So, but yeah, I mean,
I think I made the comment to you during the game that this year Jordan Addison couldn't catch crabs from a truck stop hooker.
Yeah. No, but honestly, you don't, unless somebody gives you, unless you're getting a good deal, You don't bother trading Addison because you're paying him
No,
next to peanuts next year
but
anyways.
here's the thing, and we've touched on this before. Do you re-sign Jalen Naylor
Yes. I
and
was going to
then
get to that here in a little bit.
yep?
Yes, you
So
re-sign
if
Naylor.
you re-sign Jalen Naylor at 10 mil a year or whatever it is, play Addison under his rookie contract next year, and hopefully he turns it around. Then you trade him either before the trade deadline or at the end of the year next year before his fifth year, and maybe
Hoping that
that
he has a good year this coming year.
right. So maybe that
Because that'll
third
drive his trade
plus
value
or
back up
a
again.
second gets to a first round pick.
Right. Because that, well, and if like I mentioned, if he has a good year this coming year, that'll boost his trade value up
Right.
again. So yeah,
Yeah,
you re-sign.
Addison's still playing on his rookie deal next year without the fifth year option, so you don't trade him right now.
You re-sign Naylor to a 3-year extension is what
I
you
would
do.
say, yeah, like 3 year, 30 million if you can do it.
Right. Right. And okay, now going off of that, who are your top 3 guys that you want to keep on this roster going into next season?
I
Outside of
have
the, your Jeffersons and your guys like that. I
I
mean,
haven't I guess I haven't looked to see about free agents and stuff like that yet so
well,
much, but
you got to lock down Redmond long term.
Redmond is a guy you lock down.
That's my number one thing right there going to the offseason. You lock down Redmond to a long term extension. Number 2, you re-sign Eric Wilson to a 2-year deal.
Yep.
And then number 3, you get that 3-year extension in with Jalen Naylor in house. Those are your 3 guys in house that you want to make sure that you bring into this roster going into next year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Extend Addison. I'm not extending Jordan Addison right now.
No, you don't extend Jordan Addison right now. You let him have a prove it year next year in year 4.
Yep. Because
when you're paying him next to peanuts.
Jordan Addison is a good receiver when he doesn't have his dropsies and everything else that he's been having. But you can
Oliver we got. I love you, Angel, but I think Oliver we just signed this past offseason.
Yeah, Oliver's still under contract, so he's
yeah,
good.
Yeah, Oliver's still under contract there, bud.
So my first couple, you got to figure out what you're going to do with TJ Hawkinson.
That's great. That's great.
That is priority number 1 because he cannot play under that contract next year.
Rodgers is also still under contract, I believe, going into next year.
Yeah, Rodgers is still under contract. But you have to find another outside corner because Murph is not an outside corner.
Well, we got Davey opinion on that too. Let Hawkinson walk and keep Oliver. Yeah. Would you be okay with that?
I'm letting Hawkinson. I'm cutting Hawkinson. I'm fine with that.
Especially if it gives you salary space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've got guys.
At this point, you can't trust that he gets back to his old form.
Right. You've got guys that Oliver has proven to be a good, not just a blocker. He's a good receiver as well. And he's been one of JJ's favorite targets.
Yeah, I was going to say McCarthy's showing that he's willing to go to him.
Yep. Now you've got Bartholomew. You've got some Eurosec. You've got some of these young kids.
Sims.
So, you've got all that. And
you could look at the draft and find the steal somewhere there.
Where we are going to be picking, you could also take the kid out of Oregon, who's the top top tight end in the draft, if you really wanted to.
Right.
Hitman's going to retire. Yes, the Ohio State safety Caleb Downs. He is definitely on my radar. I really like the Thieneman kid out of Oregon as well. There's a lot of good players coming out of Oregon this year.
In Hawkinson's defense, he has played well the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he has, but
it's almost to the point to where you question whether or not you want to keep him around. But like I said, I don't trust the fact that he could stay like that for an entire season.
If you do keep him, you have to restructure him.
There you go. Yes, if you do keep Hawkinson, you have to restructure
because he cannot play at $18 million a year or whatever it is next year,
and he hasn't deserved it.
No,
he's underachieved in that contract.
Yep. The last 2 years, he's been a $5 million a year safety, and he's making or tight end, and he's making,
top
12 to
top 3
15.
tight end money.
Right. Another big one. What do you do with Aaron Jones?
You let Aaron Jones walk.
I mean, the
let Aaron
age
Jones
thing,
walk.
yes, but for all that, you gotta respect the shit out of Aaron Jones.
I love Aaron Jones. Yes.
I mean, just this last weekend, he was already in the medical tent, and then Jordan Mason went down, and Jones, he said when I talked to him afterwards, he said he saw Mason come in. He's like, I got to get back out there, no matter what. He played hurt the rest of the game, and he played well the rest of the game.
I'm gonna get there, Angel, but there's one comment I'm looking at right now that I absolutely love, and I think there's something to it. Norse, okay. I love this comment.
Yeah.
And then find good pass plays out of that set.
Yeah.
Really, the illusion of complexity right here. Take advantage of that set. Yes, I would love that.
Yeah, you start killing it with those 3 tight ends in the short and intermediate.
And that's going
to open up Jefferson. But look at what they did against the Giants last week. They threw half a dozen slants in that game, 3-4 at least.
Yeah.
And I mean, a couple of third down and longs. They threw a quick slant to Jefferson, and he got first downs off of them. 3rd and 8+.
You knew Jefferson was scrapping for those yards last week, for sure, when he got the ball for those yak yards.
But that's that's what you can do because he is that good.
Yeah, I'm still upset about that. And that's all comes back to that one guy on the board.
I mean, is Poles a better GM than Quaison?
I'm not.
The way it's looking, maybe. But Harbaugh, yeah, definitely. I think this team probably would be in the conversation for the 1 seed this year if Harbaugh was here.
Yeah.
Because I think he would have designed the offense to fit McCarthy right off the fucking get-go.
Well, and the sad thing about that is that the only reason Harbaugh isn't here is because the one guy that sits on the Vikings board didn't like him.
Yeah, because he tried to big time Harbaugh at Michigan, and Harbaugh said, "Fuck you, go fuck yourself, get off my field."
And the fact that Harbaugh came here, left Michigan, the entire United States knew it
during signing day.
He came to Minnesota for the interview, and we said, "You know what? Fuck you. We don't want you."
Yeah,
Harbaugh
thought he was getting the job when he came here. And realistically,
95% of the Vikings fan base thought he was getting the job before he came.
Yeah, everybody thought, okay, if Harbaugh's coming here, it's a fucking done deal.
And we were celebrating.
Got one guy with a fucking burr up his ass that yelled loud enough that the Wilfs said no.
I think our thumbnail on Vikings Uncensored the week before that interview was of Harbaugh with his pulling up his pants and his glasses or whatever. But everybody and their dog thought Harbaugh was our new head coach when we had that interview scheduled, and then we let him fucking walk out the door.
Yep.
So I was just as excited as everybody was as well.
Yep. All right. Anyway, we've been off on a tangent all night long. We're 45 minutes in here. Let's talk about tomorrow's game as the Minnesota Vikings play host to the Detroit Lions on Christmas Day with a chance to ruin the Detroit Lions season. If Detroit loses one of the last 2 games, they are done. They need to win out, and Green Bay needs to lose out.
I would love for Max Brosmer to knock the Lions out tomorrow.
That would be the fucking epic.
That would be epic. If
Max Brosmer, where the Vikings are sitting right now, obviously we're out of the playoffs. The best thing that can happen the next 2 weeks is for us to knock Detroit out this week and then fuck up Green Bay's positioning next week.
Right. Well, we can still knock out Green Bay too if they lose
If
this
Green
week.
Bay loses, well, yeah, if Green Bay loses out and Detroit loses out, I think we could, yeah, we knock them both out.
Knock
I
both of
think.
them out. Yeah, we are set up. If Green Bay loses tomorrow, we beat Detroit. We can still knock out Green Bay next week.
Yeah.
How fucking fantastic! Just a little bit of a cherry on our season, at least. Yeah, we're
Yep.
not making the fucking dance, but neither are you, and neither are you.
Yeah.
You know,
Is it petty? Yes. Do I care? No.
do I take joy in it? Yes, I
Yes.
fucking do.
Absolutely, I do. Yes.
Especially with the way the season's gone.
Right.
So
And Detroit Lions fans have become the most insufferable bunch of assholes the last couple of years.
and now Chicago Bears fans are becoming Detroit Lions fans at this point.
Yeah. And yeah. But I think Chicago, did they already clinch or a playoff spot? I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So
They did.
Chicago's, are they one and done? Maybe Green Bay, if they make it in, they're one and done. I don't know.
Like I said
disagree with
a
that.
few weeks ago, Caleb Williams is starting to get it figured out, Rhino. And I think Ben Johnson's a huge part of that.
Ben Johnson is the reason for that. Ben
Johnson has harnessed the power of Caleb Williams in Chicago. Just like that.
Ben Johnson
taking off
is
his shirt and everything.
Yeah, Ben Johnson is as good as everybody thought he was.
Well, we knew that the year before he declared himself as head coach, and before he decided to leave.
Well, I mean, the jury was out a little bit. Is he just a great coordinator, or is he a very good? Or, is he going to be able to transfer that to a head coach? And he's showing it that he did.
And he's reeling Caleb Williams in. I mean, Williams is out there balling right now. He really is.
He's got Caleb into that controlled chaos.
And I'm not sitting there trying to stroke Caleb Williams, but I will give him praise where praise is due. We were really, really, really bad. We bashed on Caleb Williams a lot the last year.
I mean, I've said that since before he was drafted. Caleb Williams had the highest bust potential of anybody in that quarterback class.
But Johnson
it was going to depend on who he had for a coach. Under Matt Nagy under
Eberflus.
Eberflus or whatever the hell it was over there. Yeah, he was destined to be, the next quarterback that flamed out in 2 years and was, maybe a backup. But no, to Ben Johnson's credit, he's been able to harness the chaos and direct it to a point. The 2025 Bears are almost a mirror image of the 2022 Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Winning all those one-score games, and everything else. And I think probably their season ends similar to that Vikings team. They're probably one and done. But credit where credit is due. I mean, I hate giving credit to the division rivals for anything, but Ben Johnson's done a hell of a job over there.
I think when it's all said and done, the road to the Super Bowl will run through Los Angeles. So
yeah, I mean, you've got all these people out here now because the Seahawks actually beat the Rams, especially the Vikings fans.
In very controversial fashion, though.
Yeah, that the flukiest fucking 2-point conversion in the history of forever. And they never would have even been in that point if they didn't have that punt return touchdown that got them in, back into contention there. So
McDonald's got a good thing going over there in Seattle.
He's a hell of a coach.
But I think Sammy's going to be Sammy when the lights get bright and hot.
Let's see what Sammy does in the playoffs. And then
he didn't look very good against the Los Angeles Rams in that game, to be honest with you.
No, he didn't. Well, and even when they played us, he had his worst statistical game of the year.
Right.
Not from an interception standpoint, because he's thrown 4 interceptions like twice, but he had like 120 yards and whatever all else. It was just overshadowed because Brosmer was.
This is funny.
Yeah. Outside
of the year after KOC was left, they haven't been too bad.
Yeah, but that's a Super Bowl hangover, so that's expected.
Right.
But that's the biggest thing is McVay is smart enough to be able to adapt and adjust
So hairline fracture, they're going with Brosmer for sure tomorrow.
Yep. Hairline fracture in his throwing hand. If it was in his non-throwing hand, he'd have played this week.
Right. You know what Brett Favre would have done? Fucking put some sort of fucking makeshift fucking cast on that hand and played
Brett
anyway.
Favre would have went like this and
Right.
give me the fucking ball.
Are you starting tomorrow, Brett? What the fuck do you mean you think am I starting tomorrow? Yeah.
Right.
That's what I loved about Favre, man, is you would have to literally drag him off the field no matter how fucking banged up.
Favre was that true old school, the day after his dad dies, I mean, he goes out and
That was otherworldly.
mm-hmm. So
I think a key to the game tomorrow is our defense doing exactly what we did last time against Detroit.
yep. I would agree.
That is making them take Jamar Gibbs off the field.
Yep. You stop
Offensively.
Jahmyr Gibbs, I think you make things a whole lot easier to try to win this game and see if Brosmer can manage enough. Can Brosmer score? If Brosmer can somehow or another lead this team to 30 points, we win this game.
I don't know. Just by the way JJ winced when they squeezed his hand on the sideline last week.
Yeah.
I don't think it's so much him being a pussy. More the fact is that he just can't grip the football right now, right? The right way.
And that's why that fumble occurred. The injury actually happened a couple of plays before, but that was a thing when he went back and then he was trying to grip the ball and he couldn't.
Right.
If you look, there's a video on social media that shows close-ups of that, and you can see he's not gripping it right. So that, the play.
I mean, honestly, if you want to go on this logic, and this is no swing at you, Brian, but if you want to go off of this logic, there's a lot of pussies in this league if that's the case.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you look back at the '90s, and half the people that are sitting out games from back in the '90s would be sitting out games today.
Ronnie Lott cut his finger off so he could go back and play in the fucking second half.
Exactly. You have dudes that play with broken legs without ACLs. Nowadays, You're not getting none of that, and it's sad in a way. And to a point, it takes away from some of the greatness of the game. I shouldn't say that it's sad that it's that way because you're protecting these guys, but it wasn't always like that.
No.
So if you're able to walk, you're able to play.
I don't have any keys other than just go out and fucking shock the world and knock Detroit out of the playoffs. So,
and like I said, you just gotta see Brosmer be that game manager, like I mentioned before earlier in the episode. You know how much cliche that is, but that's what you want to see out of Brosmer tomorrow. Is just take what the defense gives you.
Right.
So.
All right. So with that, let's roll into our predictions segment where we not only talk about the Vikings game for the upcoming week, but also our competitors in the NFC North. We'll leave the Vikings and Lions till the end, but
I love starting this comment. I agree.
Yeah. Brian, I agree. And I with what I've seen out of JJ the last 3 weeks, I think he is that guy.
I agree
too. Stay healthy.
I think the switch had just flipped on. That's what makes his last injury so much more frustrating.
Right.
Because then also you take a couple of those incompletions that he threw and you turn them into completions. What should have been completions?
Yeah.
He would look even better. Yes.
That the touchdown to Addison. There's a couple
was beautiful. It was beautiful, Rhino.
I could have caught that one.
Perfect. Yes.
I could have caught that one. I'm 50 years old. I am fat. I'm slow, and I could have caught that ball.
I think the switch is 3/4 of the way up for McCarthy. Honestly.
I think so too.
And that's what makes this injury that much more frustrating.
Yeah, because if McCarthy was playing tomorrow, I think we win this game. Definitely.
Yes.
But anyway, we'll make our predictions on that. So we'll roll into the other games for the NFC North. Saturday night on Peacock, 7 p.m., the Baltimore Ravens travel to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers.
Baltimore is fighting for their playoff lives right now.
Yep.
So I mean, there's that. Lamar's playing, as far as I know.
He's
So
questionable, but I haven't heard that he's out yet. So yeah.
okay. Well, I mean, Baltimore, and I think Harbaugh's feeling the heat on his seat too, as well, because
Yeah.
there's been talk over there in Baltimore about Harbaugh having a hot seat. So I mean, I would love it. I would love it. Knock out Detroit this week with Max Brosmer, and then if we can knock
Knock
out
out the
Green
Packers next week.
with Max Brosmer or JJ, whomever it may be, would just be like I said last week. Knocking off the people out of the playoffs that we can would be just something nice before the end of the season.
Right. Gives us, if we could win out, get Kevin O'Connell his 5-game winning streak at the end of the year, and knock our 2 division rivals out of playoffs, I'll call that a win.
Yeah, you're not going. I'm not going to neither are you or neither are you.
No, so fuck you. Join us on the couch.
Right.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens. If
I'm going to
with
take
the
the
ca-
Ravens too. I think they're a hungrier team. I think they're
with,
a
with
better
the
team.
with the caveat that Lamar Jackson plays.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
If
sense.
Lamar
To me.
Jackson does not play, then I think Green Bay wins this game. King of Yo Mama, have you discussed Joe Burrow? Yeah, we touched on it earlier, but
You might just want to go back to the beginning of the episode and see what our takes are
yeah,
there. Do we want to discuss it again, really? It's getting towards the end of the show.
I don't know that the Joe Burrow thing happens unless there's guys that are trying to save their job and all that stuff. But
basically, you're trading for a guy that's just as injury prone as the guy that we have right now. So
yeah,
not winning games if you can't stay on the field.
Better quarterback right now, absolutely he is. There's no question about that. But
I like the take there, Ant.
Yeah, but Derrick Henry hasn't had a really outstanding
Neither has Barkley.
year.
The 2 big running backs from last year's free agency haven't had great years this year.
No, Josh Jacobs has been normal, and so is Henry. I mean, Henry's getting old. I mean, he's getting up there in the age, so I mean, he's going to hit that bridge. But
Rico Dowdle kind of slowed down too over there in Carolina.
Yeah, he was blowing the doors off her, but Carolina's making the playoffs. Right now, they're leading the South.
Now, that's the team I would love to see make the Super Bowl. Since we're not going to the playoffs, Carolina go on a run.
I can get behind Carolina. I like the underdog. I'll go, but we'll talk about that later, though, once we find out who's going, who's not. Okay, so we both are picking Baltimore with the caveat of Lamar Jackson playing.
Yes.
All right, so then
is Jordan Love playing tomorrow?
I do not know, but Malik Willis is also hurt. So yeah, that's a very good question. I have not checked so if Jordan Love doesn't play and Malik Willis doesn't play, who the fuck is their third quarterback?
Is it Clifford still?
If it is, then I don't care if it's a backup or not with Baltimore. Baltimore's winning.
Right.
All right, so the other game, Sunday night football. We get a Saturday night football. We get Sunday night football. The Bears going to San Francisco to take on the 49ers.
Bears are winning this game. They're just too confident right now and too hot. And they're playing for that number 1 seed. So the Bears are just they're too confident, they're too hot right now. I don't know that San Francisco can hang with a team that is that confident and that hot. So
it's in San Francisco. I'm taking the 49ers in this because I don't trust the Bears. Like I said, the Bears remind me so much of the 2022 Vikings. I think, honestly, San Francisco is the better team.
I don't think so at this point in the season.
Now, it would not.
Right now,
it would not surprise me to see the Bears pull out some miraculous fourth quarter, last second win.
Speaking of the Bears, I'm still pissed about the Noshawn Wright shit.
Yeah,
just
Noshawn Wright.
Over there
we had Noshawn Wright. We traded him for Andrew Booth. And we let him
Yeah, we
go, and
got Nation right
he's
from
leading
Dallas.
the league in interceptions right now.
He's a dark horse for the defensive player of the year, Rhino.
Yeah, and we let him go.
Yep.
That's another one of
I'm going to go Chicago here. Yep.
I'm taking the
I'm going
49ers.
Chicago.
I'm just San Francisco's the better team.
I don't see.
I could see Chicago winning this game, but I'm going to take the 49ers.
Yeah, I don't think San Francisco's a better team right now, especially without their linebacker there, Fred Warner. Right now, he's out. So
yeah, and Ayuk has been AOL for.
That's scary shit with Ayuk. I think there's something going on there with mental health with Ayuk, and I think he needs help.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a video posted earlier this week. Supposedly came from Ayuk himself, but he showed him flying by 49ers practice facility at like 90 miles an hour on with like a dash cam or something like that. And then there was some comment that he has not been seen at the practice facility for a couple weeks or whatever it's been. So something's going on there. But
I think he's reaching out for help, and he needs somebody to answer the call. Honestly,
he's going to go Antonio Brown here pretty quick. But
right. So, and yeah, you're right, Josh. San Francisco is gritty, but
they are.
In my humble opinion, I think right now at this point in the season, Chicago is the better team.
Like I said earlier, I think if J.J. McCarthy was starting this game, I think it would be a definite win.
Nothing would tickle my fancy more than Max Brosmer knocking Detroit out of the playoffs.
Oh, I would absolutely love it, and maybe O'Connell has learned, and the last 3 weeks are any indication.
Well, the last time we played Detroit earlier in the season, our defense owned Jared Goff in that fucking Detroit offense.
Yep, because they did not have Ben Johnson there to call against him.
That and they eliminated Jahmyr Gibbs out of that offensive fucking playbook.
That's the key to the game. If you can shut down Jahmyr Gibbs, and he got shut down last week too. I mean, I think CJ Ham had more yards last week than Jahmyr Gibbs did.
Right. And Jahmyr Gibbs got taken out because he couldn't protect Jared Goff when they played us. So if Max Brosmer can knock out Detroit tomorrow, my fancy is going to be tickled.
Yeah, I like where you're going on that one, Ant. I know you're a big Brosmer fan. If
we can hold Detroit to 14 points, that's a big time win.
If they are going to win the game tomorrow, it's going to have to be something like that, low scoring. You're not going to win in a shootout with Max Brosmer.
Well, the thing is Brosmer has yet to throw a touchdown in the NFL.
Right.
Outside of the preseason.
Yeah, he's kind of in that.
All we got was record field goals against Seattle. But like I said, I think that Seattle game is an outlier game. You throw an undrafted rookie quarterback into a game against somebody like Seattle, and you see what happened. Once the roof cracked, it all collapsed. I don't see that type of game happening here. I think you get Brosmer into rhythm. And also KOC wasn't calling the game like he was.
No, he was
Seattle.
calling
old style
KOC
plays.
game at that point. Yeah,
you continue to call quarterback friendly games, safe games for these young guys, and we might see more success out of Brosmer tomorrow.
Yeah. And just because it's in the holiday spirit, and I want to see something good. I'm going to go with Josh. I'm going to go with what Ant said. I think it's going to, if you can keep it in the teens, Vikings win this game tomorrow.
If you could hold Detroit to 14 points, the Vikings win. Yes.
But if it gets in the upper 20s to 30s, then no, we're not going to.
And you know what? The last 2 games we've received to start the game, and we've walked out with the win.
Here's the next thing to think about. Tasty tidbit to our buddy Drew. The Minnesota Vikings defense has not allowed a passing touchdown in 6 games.
That is very impressive. I think, 1998 was it, or 1980?
1998 was the last time it happened, yes.
Yes.
Not just for the team, in the league.
Yes, in the entire league.
So can they push that? If they can push that to 7 this week, again,
that would be tied for the record.
And I think that
for the record of all time. record.
And that makes it a very good chance that the Vikings win this game tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm going to
I'll,
believe in Brosmer for this week. And like I said, as long as the roof doesn't crack too quickly or right away, and he's able to overcome a little bit of adversity, I think he is responsible for probably one turnover tomorrow.
probably.
But if he can overcome that adversity, we can win this game.
Yep, I would agree.
And I think it also helps him that it's a division game, Rhino. I think it's also
Right.
beneficial to Brosmer that it's a divisional game.
Yep. 'Tis the season. I'm taking the Vikings too. All right.
Yep.
So with that, we've gone a little over an hour here tonight on the Christmas Eve. Do want to thank everybody for joining us. I know it is the holiday season and time to spend time with family. Maybe you joined us for the last hour to get away from family for a little bit. That all happens too. But thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. And hopefully the Vikings give us something nice in the stocking tomorrow.
And then knocking out Detroit out of the playoffs.
Yes. Go enjoy time with your family. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Enjoy the day. 'Tis the season. Thank you guys all. We love you so much. Thank you for joining as always. And with that, why don't you take us out of here, Lance?
If y'all haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you haven't liked the Facebook page and followed the Facebook page, that's where we do most of our social interaction. Please do so. We'll see you all in about a week and a half, I'm guessing, to do the recap of the Detroit game and the preview to the Packer final game.
Yeah, it'll be a Friday, Saturday show next week.
One of those next week, yes.
But we'll let you know.
So, with that being said, Merry Christmas to all you guys. Aubrey and Millie, if you're out there watching, Merry Christmas to you as well. I love you guys. Skol and good night.
To all a good night.